And I want to sit here right now and say that there is proof in the pudding on Love Island. Men are manipulative and they know they're being manipulative. Been there. The internet isn't real. We're the directors of our own movies when we post online. We choose what makes the cut for our audience. I'm choosing to bring back authenticity to my highlight reel, and hopefully this inspires others to do the same. Love Island is all the talk right now, but there is so much to this video that doesn't have to do with Love Island. Love Island has started the conversation I've wanted to have with you guys about men and their manipulation techniques. For those of you guys who don't know what Love Island is, it's a reality show, a love dating show being filmed in Fiji right now as we speak. The really cool part about this show is it's happening in real time, and the cast members do not have their phones, so they don't see how they're being perceived on the internet. They can't change their character arcs, and there's cameras everywhere throughout the house. Every conversation is being picked up, and it's like the most invasive dating show. It's a hard watch sometimes. Specific scenarios are a hard watch. And I want to sit here right now and say that there is proof in the pudding on Love Island. Men are manipulative and they know they're being manipulative. So let's start with a conversation I recall between Ace and a cast member. I don't know which guy, but they were talking about Amaya. And if you guys aren't watching the show, Amaya really wants Ace, and Ace was coupled up with her, and he wanted her, and then suddenly he gave her the cold shoulder. One of the guys asked him, "Did you cuddle her last night?" And Ace laughed and goes, "No."
You sure you're not gonna cuddle her? So if she asks, you gonna say no?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
I can tell a girl no. That only makes her like you more.
It like really pissed me off when I heard
That only makes her like you more.
he's admitting that men know that the cold pull away works, and that is a manipulation tactic that I want to talk about right now. It is something I've personally dealt with in previous relationships, so clearly it struck a chord.
Even babe is like a lot for me too, and I know she like to say that a lot.
Oh my God, so you want me to stop calling you babe? Damn.
Yeah, like that's.
The way it feels when someone gives you a ton of attention and then pulls it back and gets cold on you, it feels like you're being rejected. It feels like you did something wrong. The automatic reaction is, what did I do? Oh my God, I did something wrong. Oh my God, what's going on? What's wrong with me? We internalize it. That's just the natural reaction. And guys have clearly caught on to that. And, you know, in previous relationships of mine, I would notice in moments where I would get in my power and, you know, speak up for myself and, you know, say what I need or what I want, the cold pull away would happen. Like, it's like withholding intimacy, withholding emotions, withholding the warm energy, getting cold, getting distant, shutting off. And at the time when the cold pull away was being pulled on me, I would act like every girl on the reality show. I would act like, you know, like, oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God, do they still love me? Are they gonna break up with me? I wish I didn't say anything.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda been there for her, but
That's why guys do that. I was reacting the way they wanted to see me act. And I'll tell you why they do this. I feel like this is a whole masterclass I wish I could make for girlies trying to get out of like manipulative situations. So when men pull this move on you, they're actually insecure. They want to see how much you care. They want to see you go crazy over them. And this leads me to the conversation with the infamous Jeremiah and Huda. Obviously, there was toxic behavior there.
By all means, explore. Fuck you.
There was a lot of unhealed childhood wounds, but I'm not gonna go diagnosing a girl like we don't know what she's dealing with. I hate when someone has a mental illness, that mental illness just becomes the scapegoat. Everyone blames the crazy. They blame the emotional dysregulation. They just blame that.
Listen.
No, I'm sitting here crying. Niggas defending me.
And I'm gonna actually stand up for her for a second, okay? Jeremiah, he's on Book Talk. He's a sweetie pie. He's a cutie. You could tell in his eyes he's a genuine guy. The issue with the situation, whether he realized it or not, was the emotional unavailability. So some guys are like Ace, where they're aware of the cold pull away and they do it to make a girl go crazy because they're insecure. But then there's guys like Jeremiah, who I've actually been with, a guy like this, where they're a good guy, they're nice, but they're emotionally unavailable, and leaving someone in the I don't knows and in the grays will drive a girl crazy. There was a challenge where all the girls had to go behind doors and all the guys had to stand in front of the doors of the girls they were choosing. And he went and stood in front of Iris's door and not Huda's. So he chose another girl. And she walked out and saw that he chose someone else.
And once again, Jeremiah failed.
In that moment, you saw she got over it. Obviously she was hurt and she was sad, but you could tell it was like almost relief. And she was like, okay. And then all the scenes moving on after that, she was in her single girl era again. She was sleeping alone without crying about it. She wasn't always lurking on Jeremiah, which she was always lurking on Jeremiah. Crazy girls stay crazy girls, and it takes one to know one. But I don't want to sit here and say all men are intentionally doing the cold pull away. There are some that are literally insecure and do it to change the power dynamic. And then there are some like Jeremiah who aren't experienced enough or evolved enough to handle layers to a woman. Obviously, I'm not saying that the yelling and the name calling was appropriate, but I do feel like she was going crazy. And I've been there. I've actually been there where, you know, when you're ripping off a Band-Aid and you rip it off slow, it hurts so much more and you sound crazier as you're ripping it off versus when you just quickly rip it off. And I feel like the gray area and the emotional unavailability and the I don't knows, it drove her crazy, and we watched it happen in real time. When I look at that relationship, it does make me feel sad for them because I feel like the love was there. And I feel like they could have went longer in the show. But I do think it was two people who love each other. One is really unhealed and one isn't emotionally evolved enough. And they just were incompatible in their attachment styles and how they handled conflicts. And that's ultimately why they ended. There's definitely some trauma happening there because she was like throwing fits. Been there. You guys have seen the clips. Reality TV Niki. You guys have seen it. Like I've been her. And I've also been the villain of reality show seasons. I've had the crash outs.
It needs to always be the center of attention. Like, I literally am scared. Stop.
I've had people, you know, hold me accountable and make me look at my shit in the mirror. Like, I've been there. So, like, I know what it's like to be her. And I also know why those crash outs happened to me on the reality shows that I was on, which I haven't actually gotten into. That's a separate episode. But if you're an I don't know guy and you're not ready to give someone a for sure yes, then don't drag them along. Don't string them along. Know that you're not evolved enough to be in a relationship. Okay, now let's talk about Nick, okay? Because there is mixed opinions here. He is like a golden retriever. He's a dog, all right. He's a golden retriever and he's a charmer. So this is another type of guy who manipulates. I think out of all them, I think he has the most like genuine approach, especially with Sierra. If you look at their relationship struggles throughout the season, the only issue that she's having with him is that the way he got her is the way he's getting other girls. He is a charmer. He's a flirt. He's a dog. He's a golden retriever. I've seen people on TikTok saying the golden retriever and the black cat couple last a lifetime. And, you know, there are pros and cons to everything. And I think we're firsthand witnessing like the downsides to a golden retriever, to a charmer. And like, I'm going to be so for real right now. My girlfriend is definitely a golden retriever. I don't deal with the emotional unavailability. I don't deal with the cold pull away. But the one thing that sometimes freaks me out is how charming she is and how golden retriever she is. And she was such a good flirt when she got me. So like, obviously, like I feel like I fall into the Sierra category a little bit. Me and Jules haven't had, I mean, we're not on a dating show. Like we are very loyal to each other. But I do think that like when you are with someone who has golden retriever, fun, cute, innocent, flirty, comedic energy, goofy energy, you know that the personality shines through. And then when you look at Nick's looks, he is so cute and he probably knows that. I mean, he is a model. I know he's a model. So, you know, he knows he's cute, but he's also like not a bad person. He's just a charmer. Fun fact, me and my girlfriend, like obviously we're only into each other and she's only into women, but we both sit there and we both talk about how hot Nick is because he looks like a lesbian, we think. Like he's a hot masked lesbian and we're like, why is he so cute? He is a charmer because he's even got my lesbian girlfriend being into him. Like he's that cute. What's important is that we stop focusing on them and what they're doing and just focus on ourselves. Let's be the adult to our inner child and say, you're okay. You didn't do anything wrong. And if you want to cry about it, cry about it. But I'm here for you. You don't need to call them and get reassurance. Okay, so like seriously, think about it. If you saw a 6-year-old little girl crying about the matter, would you tell her to go back to the person making her feel bad to feel better? No. So then why would you go to the person that's making you feel bad to feel better? You're just setting yourself up. I remember I had a life coach that would tell me, if you reach out to so-and-so, you're self-harming. you know how it's gonna go. Like when I heard it like that, I'm like, oh, you're right. Even if you really, really wanna reach out to that person, you can crash out in private, girl. Crash out in private, but don't reach out. Take a beat, take a walk, touch some grass, call a friend, call your mom. You know, those crying FaceTimes where it's like, you don't know what to say. And the person's like, and you're just like, if you find yourself stuck in a push and pull dynamic, you also don't want to leave this person because you love them and you feel so tied to them. I do want to give advice to you guys because I've been there. You know, when I was in a place where I was looking for stability, but my relationship was extremely unstable with the push and pull, the way I got out of that was to say yes to everything. Say yes to everything. And you don't have to be single to say yes to everything. My advice is to start living like you're single. Because when you're single, all you do is think about yourself because you don't have a partner. You don't have anyone to worry about. You don't have someone's location to stalk. I do feel like when people get in relationships, especially women, it's natural for us to want to nest and lock in and be committed and be loyal and build. That is just human nature in females. Staying yourself and not just being someone's girlfriend will help you get unstuck. Because what's going to happen is one of two things. If you start saying yes to everything and you start living your best life, you will either realize that you're stronger and happier and more confident without the person keeping you on that toxic cycle, and you will be strong enough to leave.
I truly thought I was gonna end this with you. I hate this. Like, I hate it. I have so many memories with you in here.
The other thing that could happen is you pull away, you focus on yourself, and energetically, he will come right to you. If this person is bringing you down and the cycle is draining you and making you anxious, you will naturally start to resent the person and you'll want out and you'll only want to be around people that make you feel good. Or you will take space and they will reach for you and treat you how you deserve. So it's like there's nothing that'll go wrong if you just focus on yourself. And this is something I wish I learned sooner. And if I was on Love Island, if I was a contestant going through all those dynamics, I would do the focus on myself card. I would be spitting that. And it sucks that the reality TV shows that I've been on YouTube, like Niki and Gabi Take Blank, it sucks that it was my anxious, attached, unhealed era. It sucks because it's like, I want to be tested. I want to be on a reality show showing like my new coping, my new skills. Like, but you can recognize the signs when a girl is, you know, starting to get wrapped up in a guy when all they do is talk about him when you hang out. And that's worrisome because that was me. I've been that girl. Like, God, I feel like my hometown friends, even though like times are different, everyone's moved on, I do feel like I was that friend where I would only hang out with them and just talk about my relationship problems. But I feel like they were there for me and they were good friends because I do feel like they empathize because as a girl, you know how hard it is to be in those kinds of relationships where the cycle is like toxic and it's imbalanced and there's a power dynamic and there's a push and pull, a push and pull. You should be able to be securely attached. And obviously, I think there's work girls can do to like get there, and I'm still working on it. I'm on a mission for secure attachment. I think I'm closer than I've ever been as a natural anxious attachment girl. There's definitely videos you can watch, therapy you can do, medication you can get on that can help get you there. That's my TED Talk about all this. I just feel like between advice I've been giving and watching the show, I knew that there was something I wanted to say, so I said it. Okay, T. So in one of my past relationships, whenever I would bring up something that upset me in the relationship or something I wanted to address, I was already scared to bring up in the first place. But by the time I mustered up the courage to finally talk about something and get emotional about it, one of my exes would say, you know what? I don't think we should be in a relationship. I don't know if this is good for me. And then he would start talking about breaking up. And this started to become a pattern where if I ever got empowered enough to like talk about something that I was scared to bring up, or if I showed that he wasn't meeting my needs, the breakup line would be thrown in my face. And then obviously as an anxious attached girl and a codependent girl, that would send me into a spiral like, oh, I shouldn't have said anything. I'm so sorry. And then I ended up begging for this ex back. So I would be going into the conversation like, you know what? I'm not okay with this, this, and this. And I would leave the conversation like, I need you. How does that happen? That like seriously, like that is manipulative. And how I know it's manipulative is fast forward, we're cool again. We're not dating anymore. And we have a conversation. And I say to this ex, I say, did you mean it every time you would break up with me? And he said, Niki, I didn't mean it. I just didn't know how to get you to stop. Stop what? Bringing up shit that makes you uncomfortable? So you're going to make me really think that you're breaking up with me, send me into a spiral, make me regret I ever said anything? Whether this ex knew it or not, they were admitting to manipulating me. And that sucked. That sucked to hear because every time they would break up with me, I believed it every time. And you know what that does to a girl's self-esteem and nervous system? Like, cheating is horrible, okay? But you know what's just as bad as cheating? Is making a girl think you're 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the relationship the entire time. Back to the Jeremiah situation. I think that Jeremiah just wanted to shut down Huda's crash outs. And I think one of these exes just wanted to shut down my crash outs. And whether Jeremiah was aware of it or not, because I do really think he's a good guy and I am rooting for him in life. I think he's a sweetheart. I do think that he was dismissive a lot to Huda. And it was a hard watch because I've been there and I've been seen as the crazy girl by a lot of people. And I've been seen as the crazy girl by the person that mattered most to me. And that sucked because I knew that I just was crying on the inside and I didn't know how to explain to everybody how I felt and what was going on. Because at the end of the day, the one crying and yelling the loudest is just crazy. But like the one that isn't is healthy. There is such thing as silent manipulation. And that is the cold pull away and the emotionally unavailable men. I could have been enjoying my life so much better. Like, I wish I could go back and tell past Niki he was never going to break up with you. He was never going to break up with you. But I swore he was going to break up with me every time. The irony is I had the power the whole time and I didn't even know it. The irony is the girls on the other end of that have the power and they don't realize it. They have the power the whole time. Come on, let's look at Amaya. She's a babe. She is hot. She looks like an Olsen twin, yet the guys are being so mean to her. Like, because I think she is so confident and she's so unapologetic and she will call shit out. And guys don't like that because it makes them feel less of a man. It makes them feel emasculated. The conversation between Huda and her new guy, I forget his name because he's so not memorable. They did that makeout challenge where everything had to be really steamy. She dominated him. She got on top of him and straddled him and made out with him and licked him from belly button to mouth. And he had a conversation with her. He pulled her aside and said,
I can tell you like being dominant. So you was just trying to be dominant, and I'm not someone who likes to be dominated.
So find someone submissive.
That conversation pissed me off. She said, well, go find someone more submissive, and left the chat. And honestly, good for her. I was actually really happy she didn't have another crash out. I was worried there for a second. I was like, girl, Huda, we love you. Please. We know you mean well. Please don't have a crash out. She didn't have a crash out, and she walked away. I was like, yes, that's a win for her. Fun fact, I have a ton of episodes pre-filmed that are actually already edited and being edited. And I stopped everything I was doing to try to put this out soon because I just feel like watching the show, it inspired me to have a rant, to talk to my girlies who have been these girls in relationships, in dynamics. And I want to end this video on this note. What you see from a guy and how they're treating you and how they're acting is not what they're thinking. It is not. There is cognitive dissonance happening. They are manipulating you, whether it's intentional or not, okay? I want you guys to have that knowledge because I wish I knew that 4 years ago. Talking about it, looking from the outside in, it should be obvious, right? But when you're sucked in that relationship and your emotions are high and all you want is them to make you feel better, it's really hard to see things clear because we got rose-colored glasses on, girls. Every time we're in love with someone, we do not see things the way they are. But that's why friends are important. That's why listening to podcasts are important. You gotta, knowledge is power. The more you know, the less you can be fucked with. And I do think it's important, before you get in long-term relationships or while you're in these relationships, to know these things, to be aware of them because it happens. It'll happen. It's just human nature. But being healthy and being securely attached and showing up for your inner child and taking care of yourself, positives only come from that. I know it's easier said than done, but my crazy girls out there, I got you. I know you. I know you will because I'm girl. Trust me, guys, I have spent a ton of money on therapy, life coaches, medicine, repeat. Take care of your inner child. She doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but that's where adult you needs to show up and you need to say, girl, stop crashing out over him. He's making you feel bad. So don't run to him to make you feel better. I just wish I knew that. But yeah, I'm going to end this here. I love you guys so much. I am loving Love Island this season. This is the first time I'm watching it, actually, and I do not regret it. If you guys are crashing out over a guy in your life, I think you should watch the show. And if you guys want to watch a hot mess of relationships, watch the show. So I never know how to end these, but I love you guys. Subscribe, press the bell, and I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye. Mwah.